Going across to this big development, the UK Home Secretary has given approval for the extradition of Nirav Modi. The UK Home Secretary giving the nod that Nirav Modi should be extradited. This entire story after the court had very clearly convicted Nirav Modi and also said that he is guilty and he should be extradited, giving the nod. The decision was left to the UK Home Secretary. Nirav Modi has the right to challenge this in a higher court, but this itself shows that there is conviction and belief that the courts have judged right after listening to both parties, and fresh trouble for Nirav Modi here, and a big boost for India, getting one step closer towards his extradition. Sanjay Suri with us, Ashish Merishi with us. Ashish, big update this one before I bring in Sanjay Suri. Yes, Ashish, the Indian authorities must be very encouraged by this. But is this also going to go the Vijay Mallya way?
Well, it will not be that easy, Anand, for, Nirav Modi, because, he has, Vijay Mallya has actually chosen the asylum route. But, that is why he is still there. He's lost the battle in Manchester court. He's lost the battle at the High Court as well. He's lost the battle even in, with the Home Secretary. So here, obviously, he has an option. He can go to a higher court, but usually higher court does not accept the application so easily. So it will not be that easy for Nirav Modi. So the efforts of the Indian government seems to be bringing results. That is what is visible. And now the Home Secretary has given the approval. Priti Patel has given the approval for Nirav Modi's extradition.
Well, Ashish, stay with us on the phone line. Sanjay Suri, big win, India getting one step closer. It's taken a lot of time. It's a long-drawn process, but, they have been at it, and the results are showing.
Well, we have to bear in mind that this approval is routine. Once the Westminster Magistrates Court approved the extradition and then sent the order to the Home Office for a decision, the Home Office the Home Secretary would have no option but to take the decision now taken. The Home Office does not have discretionary powers to overrule a ruling of the Magistrates Court. So the Home Department really has only to rubber stamp it and give it a procedural push, which it has now done. As the legal fine print goes, the Magistrates Court can only recommend and order the extradition, but with the reference first to the Home Office. The executive action will have to be taken by the Home Office, which it now has.
Well, the fact is that they could have dragged their feet. They've actually taken 2 months to even give this approval. 25th of February, if I remember correctly, that the entire the court order actually happened, the verdict happened. And now we are on the 16th of April already, Sanjay. So one of the aspects is perhaps that they did not drag their feet, and this is urgency because it was a 2-year-long legal battle. Now 2 more months for the Home Secretary's approval to come through. What next? How much longer?
Well, it is almost certain that Nirav Modi will go to the High Court in appeal. The High Court will first have to admit the appeal, then set a date. Then it will have to take a call whether it will accept oral submissions or merely written submissions. Usually the High Court accepts only written submissions, and in that case the procedure will be speeded up. In any case, it's a matter of a few months and not very much longer. Even though there are delays due to COVID, the High Court is almost certain to turn down the appeal because the grounds on which the extradition was recommended and approved by the Magistrates Court have been very firm. And it is very difficult to see a Court of Appeal turning that down. So once the Court of Appeal turns down the appeal, then that is the last word so far as the extradition process continues here.
Yeah, but then he can also exercise the asylum option, Ashish Merishi, just like Vijay Mallya has done. Ashish, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Nirav Modi also has he will exhaust all legal possibilities. The High Court will take some time, and then asylum route, which is keeping Vijay Mallya also away from India and in the UK.
Well, it's a matter of time because these people anyways have to come because reason being that a crime, which is money laundering done by them, diversion of bank money, which is basically an offense under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, is also a crime in United Kingdom. And that is why you see, in the legal options, whether it is Vijay Mallya, whether it is Nirav Modi, they have made immense effort for not coming to India. But most of the arguments given in the court have fallen flat, which includes the poor jail conditions in India. So the Indian authorities have been able to give videos, pertaining to the jail conditions in India, and that is why ultimately you see, they have lost the battle because it's a dual crime. The crime that has been done in India is also a crime in United Kingdom. Though he had hidden, if you remember, he was traveling in Europe. He had. He was traveling by train, but ultimately, when he was caught by the authorities, he has been put in jail, and since then he has not been able to get bail, and that is why it's a matter of time, as Sanjay was saying. It's only a matter of time that we can expect Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi in India. They have been able to they have been able to delay it. But ultimately, to my understanding, it is not very far off when both of them will be in India.
Well, Ashish Merishi and Sanjay Suri, please stay with us on the phone line. We've got Swapnil Kothari, lawyer, also with us on the phone. We'll also try and speak to get in touch. I think Maha Siddiqui is also with us on the phone line and get the MEA and the Indian government's perspective. But Swapnil Kothari, this is a long, long wait. And this is a fight of persistence. Kudos to the agencies and of course their representations which have been advising the Crown Prosecution Service to get an airtight case.
Absolutely, Anand. There's no question. I think this is just the last bit attempts that he'll make about the asylum if he wants to, and I'm sure he'll make that. Once the ministry has approved from the United Kingdom, then I don't think there's very little chance that he's got, because obviously the departments of the ministry will act in tandem. One cannot say, yes, okay, he needs to be extradited, and then the other one says, no, we'll grant him asylum, regardless of how many millions of pounds he pays in taxes out there. So I think this is going to be a tough call for him, and I think along with Vijay Mallya, this man will also follow suit. I don't know who's going to come first here, but I don't think either of them is going to have a chance to stay there for a long time, and they will have to face the Indian heat. So
because along with the legalities, there is also a certain level of soft diplomacy and also the equations between the political equations between the two nations, which will also come into play, especially when we are looking at high-profile offenders, financial fraudsters like Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. Swapnil Kothari, please stay with us. Shantanu Sen, former CBI director, also with us. Mr. Shantanu Sen, one of the aspects is that the authorities seem to have worked together. The various investigation wings and within the Indian government seem to have worked very well together, both in the case of Vijay Mallya and better in the case of Nirav Modi, for putting together this watertight case.
Yes, I agree that the investigation by the CBI was thorough, competent, and elaborate. The result is that for all of us to see that step by step, tires have been crossed and crossed with distinction by the CBI. There has been no hurdle or hitch as far as Nirav Modi is concerned. Yes, Vijay Mallya has been a long struggle, but even he will be extradited. Both of them, one has been clearly now that the government, after all, the last decision is that of the government, and the government having done it, there is no burden, no hitch in his extradition. All we have to do is to wait for the final order, send a team from CBI here to London and bring him back, as we have done in the case of other extraditees from the UK, including Teja, long ago.
Yeah.
And as far as Vijay Mallya is concerned, we have to wait for the final orders of the Home Department of the government.
Yeah, in this case also, if the High Court, and which is inevitable that Nirav Modi will move the High Court and the High Court will reject it, that could take about 6 to 8 months, and then comes this entire option of exercising the asylum route and how long that will take. Shantanu Senji and Swapnil Kothari, thank you very much. Maha, is the big win for the Indian government. They must be very, very pleased with these developments, but they also know that it's not yet over. It's still a long haul.
Absolutely, and we have to keep in mind the timing. It was speculated that before Boris Johnson visits India, something of this nature could come out from the UK, and that is exactly what is happening. The Home Secretary has cleared that extradition just in time for Boris Johnson's visit to India, which starts on the 26th of April. We do know meeting between the two sides, especially at a time of COVID, when we are seeing that both India and UK, one visit has been rescheduled, as we have seen, Anand, and this is the rescheduled meeting that is happening, the visit that is happening by Boris Johnson. So we need to keep in mind first the timing, and secondly the